something a little bit different for you guys today. I thought I would share a recipe for some cacao energy bars that I'm making for the lovely guests that are joining us at this weekend's Equinox event with myself and Lorna, because apparently many people have booked on just for the cacao energy bars. Now, I don't really truly believe that. However, I thought I would share the recipe because it is really easy to do, and if I can do it, anybody can do it, and it is really, really good for you. So here are some of the ingredients. You can basically use any nuts, seeds, oats that you have in the cupboard. I don't necessarily follow a strict recipe, and we always seem to have lots of seeds, oats and currants and things in the cupboard. So I'm going to be using porridge oats, and I'm going to chop some mixed nuts into small pieces. I'll be adding some flaxseed, chia seeds, goji berries, pumpkin seeds, and as well as the apricots and some currants. It will then be mixed in with peanut butter and coconut oil, and it will be topped with some lovely raw Peruvian cacao, which I will melt and mix with some coconut oil. So I've just added some dry ingredients into a big bowl. We've got the oats, we've got some flax seeds, sunflower seeds, we've got chia seeds, we've got pumpkin seeds, and we've got some currants. And I'm just about to add in some more dry ingredients. I'm going to add the chopped nuts and the dried apricots once I've chopped them. I've just chopped the mixed nuts. We've got a nice selection of different nuts here. We have Brazil nuts, we've got almonds, we've got walnuts, and what else have we got in there? Cashew nuts, which are really, really good for you. I think all of them combined probably benefit your whole entire body. We have things that are great for your bones, we have brain cognitive function, we have muscle function, we have vitamin E for skin, eyes, not to mention lots of different things. They're anti-inflammatory, antioxidant. So yeah, nuts are very good, unless of course you have a nut allergy. And hopefully nobody this weekend does. We will make sure that nobody has a nut allergy first, otherwise I won't be able to come anywhere near them with these. Finally, I've chopped some apricot into fairly small pieces. I like a little bit of fruit and squishiness in my oat bars, so those are the dried ingredients. I'm just going to use a wooden spoon, and I'm going to christen this spoon that my mum brought back from the Peak District. I think it's supposed to be me. Just to give them all a nice big stir. Okay. Give it a nice stir. Lovely. So here are the ingredients once they've been mixed. And next I'm going to melt some nut butter with some coconut oil. You can use any type of nut butter, it doesn't have to be peanut butter, but that's what I'm going to be using today. And then we'll mix and combine with these ingredients. So the first hack is that I have actually just used the microwave to melt these two ingredients. So we have the coconut oil and the peanut butter. Please make sure your peanut butter is free from palm oil. This one is, and peanut butter is, again, really good in terms of source of protein, full of healthy fats. And coconut oil is amazing for lots of different things, but especially good for skin and hair. It's a good source or form of, it's an antibacterial basically. So we're going to put these in with the rest of the ingredients. Now I'm going to do it bit by bit because I haven't measured. So what we're wanting to do is just put a little bit in at a time, mix, and then see how sticky the mixture gets. So I'm just going to pour about half of the bowl in for now. It could well be that I end up using all of it, but it's just best to gauge kind of how well it bonds all the ingredients together first. And again, this is going to be quite difficult because I'm trying to do it with one hand. The mixture is still quite dry, so I'm going to add the whole rest of this bowl and see what happens after I've mixed the rest of it. So as you can see, it's pretty well bound now. It certainly feels like it's very sticky, but just to be sure and just to kind of add another binding agent, I'm actually going to put a little bit of agave nectar in. which is a vegan kind of honey. It's a natural sweetener, but it's very sticky. So I want to keep the recipe vegan, so I'm going to add maybe 2 or 3 teaspoons of the agave nectar just into the recipe and mix that really well. So next we're going to need some greaseproof baking paper and a tin. So we're going to line the tin with the paper and then start to pour in the mixture. Okay, so here's our tin. We just want to make sure that the paper is kind of overlapping or will overlap over the edges. And next we'll just start to spoon the mixture in. So you want to make it as flat as possible. Sometimes it might be, and in this case I think I might actually make a slightly smaller, get a slightly smaller tray. Okay, so this is it transferred into the tray. I've flattened it, I've packed it down, and of course, because I was a bit cocky and didn't measure any of the measurements at the beginning, I've now realised I actually might need to do another lot in order to satisfy 22 guests, but yeah, this should do the majority. So the next thing after this is to melt the cacao to go on top. Very exciting. So I've just got some water boiling in a pan, and this is about 250 grams of cacao. I'm going to chop off about 100 grams. See, I'm getting measurements now, and chop it not too finely, and pop it in a glass bowl on top of the hot water to melt it. So raw ceremonial grade cacao does usually come in quite a big solid block. Not always, sometimes it's quite crumbly, so you will have to chop it. Sometimes you can figure out which way will be easiest. There's kind of a more crumbly centre, or you can just kind of go with the grain. So I'm just going to kind of shave into mine, and it will just start to kind of crumble away, kind of chip away around the edges. Whatever you find is easiest, really. Like I say, it's sometimes really hard. Oh, the leg just fell on the floor there. But yeah, I'm going to do the rest without a camera on it because I'm in danger of chopping my fingers off if I'm doing it like this. But yeah, so I'll kind of just keep doing that. So we've got lots of like big chunks and flakes. So as you can see, I've chopped fairly roughly. Some of the bigger pieces will just take a little bit longer to melt, but that's no problem. Is just melt the chocolate over a pan of boiling water in a glass bowl. You'll start to see it begin to melt. When it does melt, we will be adding a little bit of coconut oil. Another thing to mention is obviously the pan and the bowl will be getting hot, so if you need to hold on to the bowl at any point, please just use some oven gloves. Just gives you that little bit of stability and kind of press the cacao a little bit firmer down. As you can see, it's starting to melt now, but there are those big chunks. I should probably have cut them a little bit smaller just to speed up the process, but like I say, they will melt. Once the mixture looks a bit like this, I'm just going to add about a tablespoon of coconut oil to the mix. Your bowl of melted cacao. Make sure you use oven gloves because the bowl will still be quite hot. Anyway, just to show you how to, well, we're just going to drizzle basically. Drizzle it on, drizzle it all over. So actually, I think I've done almost enough to cover the whole thing, which is great. You don't have to, just drizzle as you go, see what happens. Okay. Oh look, there you go, that's one way to get it to drizzle. Let's do that. That was unintentional, but that's quite a good way to get the coverage. Just tilt the tin. This recipe just keeps evolving. There we go. As you can see, it is perfectly covered now. So next thing to do is basically, and what I love probably the most about this recipe is that it doesn't have to go in the oven. You just leave it in the fridge to set. So that's the next thing we're going to do, and then we can check on it when it comes out. You can actually find a shelf in your fridge. Just about found one. I have to move things around a little bit for that to balance. There we go. Lovely stuff. Gotta love some kimchi. So this is now solidified and nice and hard. I'm going to just take it out of the tray, pop it onto the chopping board, and yeah, cut it into nice pieces. Paper. And to give you a little idea of how it now looks. Kind of hard to see the inside because the chocolate's melted all the way around, but I will chop it up into little chunks to give you an idea. So there you have it, Hannah's famous cacao energy bars. Looking forward to sharing these on Sunday. I can confirm they are really good. Yummy.